Hey guys, welcome back to Glowed Up and Woke. I just received a question regarding one of my videos where I talk about acid reflux and how I overcame chronic acid reflux with intermittent fasting. Now, that's a little bit um, not the whole truth because, as I said in this comment section of my video about acid reflux, that really it was when I began to feel safe on the planet. Um, and you can consider this like root chakra work. When I was basically beginning to ground myself, it's when really everything started changing for me. Everything started, like my anxiety, which many people know is the metaphysical component of acid reflux and heartburn, and especially chronic. It has to do with not being able to keep things down and just kind of always flying up. Excuse me. Wow. So I just got this question literally a couple minutes ago, and I happen to have the time and the passion for it to answer it right now. So here I am. And basically, what the person said was that a lot of sickness seems to be mind based, or I forget exactly the wording. Let me look real quick. Let's see. Huh, can't find it now. Anyway, sorry about that. I thought it would be right here. It's interesting. Anyhow, perhaps it got taken out. But I'm making this video now, and so really, there's this concept that a lot of illness comes from the mind or starts in the mind, and I would say all illness starts from the mind, comes from the mind, and I would take it even further to say everything that we perceive in the world, everything that is manifested, it starts with the mind. That's the nature of quantum physics. That's the nature of just all physics. Everything starts as a vibration. And then vibrations become things when they accumulate energy, enough energy, then it becomes mass. And therefore we have E equals mc squared, the famous elegant equation by Albert Einstein, which basically says that everything in the universe is made of energy, and some form of energy, just like ice is just water, which is just gas. So in a way, we're always underwater because we're out here surrounded by gases of all kinds. So this concept, once you start realizing that your mind is really creating everything in your life, you become free because you're no longer a victim to an illusory cause, right? There's only one source of cause. There's only one creative force. And that creative force is the same force that creates the trees and the plants and the oceans and the waves and the planets. And if, as you can see, that creative force makes everything work perfect, in perfect harmony. Everything is vibrant and beautiful. It is only when we, with the fear and it starts with the illusion of separation. When something happens in our lives, especially at a young age, that is so intense that we sort of create a split between that event and who we are, there is the root of all illness, because the separation doesn't allow the light of life, or the life force of life, the resonance which sustains all things in nature, which is why everything is constantly in harmony when it's in nature. That doesn't flow into that area of your being anymore. There's an interference to the natural flow of life force. And if you want a more scientific approach, then I can say that there is an interference to the flow of blood and nutrients that are going to that area. So how does that work? Okay, so scientifically speaking, we are producing neurochemicals all the time. and endorphins and hormones. These endorphins and hormones, this chemical soup that our brain produces, it's informing all the cellular processes of our body, right? So through the electrical circuitry of the nervous system and through the hormones and neurochemicals of the brain, a cascade, a chain of events goes through your body, and everything is a result of that. Everything that happens is a result of that. It's not a result of anybody else. It's not a result of anything else. It's just your brain, the way your brain responds to the environment. So why do I say mind? Well, mind is the field generated by the brain, which is interpreting the environment. The brain itself doesn't interpret, but it's the mind that interprets and tells the brain, oh, this is bad, or this is good, or this is dangerous, or this is whatever. So you can test that right now. If you were in a room where when you know physically, scientifically, you're perfectly safe, but you start visualizing in your mind something that you're really scared of happening. You start visualizing right now. Start visualizing your greatest fear. What is your greatest fear? See it happening right now, for an instance. There you go. You start producing a fight or flight response. It's in your mind. It's not really in your environment. So when your mind is creating this perception, it's telling the brain what neurochemicals to produce and what hormones to secrete through the endocrine system and through the nervous system. So the endocrine system, the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the thymus gland, by your kidneys, you have your adrenals, which is what happens when you feel scared. And then you have, for man, the prostate. All that is how, through your whole body, your brain is wired into your whole body. And your brain is the hardware for your mind. Your brain is wired into the mind. So the way that you interpret your reality, your environment, the world around you, is telling your brain what neurochemicals, what signals to send to all of the cells of your body, and therefore producing a response that is either going to be a healing response or it's going to be a not so healing response. And it's all about balance. When you have that balance, when you have the right PhD, for example, then you're going to be fine. Your illness, bacteria, virus, there's a lot of the yucky stuff simply cannot reproduce in a basic environment, an alkaline environment. That's why so many people are going crazy with the alkaline diet. That's just an example. And if you want to be alkaline, sure, change your diet. A diet is important. I'm not saying dieting is not important, but what is going to give you the will to eat healthy? What is going to consistently motivate you to and actually change the things that you crave so that you start craving healthy things? Your mind. It's when you start feeling healthy and it's when you start feeling safe on this planet and loved, and you start loving yourself, that you naturally feel gravitation and cravings for healthy foods. Things that are good for you come from when you feel good about you. When you feel good about you, you crave things that are good for you. If you find yourself craving things that are bad for you, rather than trying to change your behavior by telling yourself that you're bad every time you do it, start telling yourself that you're good, that you're beautiful, that you're great, that you're wonderful. And use these affirmations. Affirmations are a really wonderful way to reprogram the brain so that when you perceive something, you can see it in a positive light. When you perceive things in a positive light, you will produce healthy, vibrant neurochemical responses to your environment, and you will feel loved and safe everywhere you go. So that's what I did. I started using affirmations. I had direct experiences of profound knowledge when I did my year-long fast, which I've talked about in these videos. And that's why I have such a strong conviction that whenever I'm not in my right mind, which is the mind that is aligned with source and creation and in alignment with the harmony of all that is and all that exists, that's when I start to feel fear. And the fear is what produces all the neurochemicals, the hormones that are really not healthy, that are generating an unhealthy environment for your cells. They literally is the cause of death. That's the massive cosmic joke of the universe, that the cause of illness and the cause of death, therefore, is the fear of death. It's the fear of separation. There is no such thing as separation, and there is no such thing as death, because you are not a body. You are the energy that animates this body, and energy can neither be created or destroyed, which means you existed before this body and you will exist beyond this body. And that might seem like a really radical concept, but it's entirely scientifically sound concept. And if you don't believe me, please ask me questions, and I will elaborate on why there's no such thing as death. Death is code word for travel. It just means I was here, I was in this body, now I'm going to a different body. That's it. You are the signal. You're the signal that is being picked up. Like, your computer picks up a Wi-Fi signal, and the information that the computer is getting from the internet is not coming out of the computer. It's coming from the Wi-Fi signal. And so your brain is a biocomputing machine. It's a quantum biocomputer that is also an antenna, and it's also broadcasting. But the important part is that your brain is a bio-quantum computer, which is receiving a Wi-Fi signal, and therefore you are not the actual computer. You're the information. If you were to smash the computer and then grab another computer and go to the same website, you're going to get the same information. You're going to get the same picture, the same image, the same everything. You are the signal, not the antenna which receives the signal. And in fact, this doesn't even receive the signal. This body generates a field antenna, and that field antenna is receiving the signal. I hope this was helpful. I know it's sort of radical, but it's the way to really get to lasting health, a lasting cure. If ever I find myself with some sort of health condition, which is rare these days, I ask myself, where am I in fear? How am I creating the illusion of separation? Where am I buying into the lie of separation, the falsehood of separation? There is no separation. There's only one force. There's one creative force in the planet, in the universe, and that creative force is permeating and interconnecting all things. There's only this one unified field, and anybody who doesn't believe in the unified field, just do some research. Research the latest quantum physics. Research Nassim Haramein. Research the Orr theory of consciousness put on by Dr. Stuart Hameroff and Sir Roger Penrose, who worked with Stephen Hawking. Like, how much more credible do you need to be before people believe a new idea? I mean, I understand that it's new, but it's very real, and it will set you free. So it's a win-win situation. Check it out. Much love to you guys. Satnam.